to play the devil's advocate here, um, there are times when I've heard a lot of my friends talk about it. To some extent, it is also true that we have crossed a large part of our lives being what we are, and it may not be the ideal parenting model by itself, what we stand for. See, there are people uh, who smoke, who drink, who swear, who get angry, uh, who have anything at all which they would not want their kids to imbibe because they know the repercussions, but they are unable to do anything about it. So on paper, it's a very lovely thing to say that stand up for
I
what
don't agree.
you.
I
No,
don't
but
agree.
I'm not even coming to that. I'm saying, say, I have enough. We have enough examples in the world of people like those. So, since we are digging a little deeper on what works for us who are trying to be this, it's not about agreement and disagreement about the point itself. It is, if it is working, what makes it work? If it doesn't work, what leads to its failure? So, what is it that makes us okay, for want of a better term, I will just use a provocative term, holier than thou suddenly when we become parents. What has changed? Uh, what has changed for us? Sujata, would you want to say something? You look like you have a
Yeah,
tongue.
I think what probably changes when you become a parent is because the fact that you are so responsible uh, to raise another child, to to try and do the right thing or the correct thing, because that's a, I mean, even though there isn't a manual as how to be a good parent or whatever. I think we learn on the go is what I would say. And that innate, I would say, probably fear as well, that you don't want to get it wrong. Not that you will get it wrong, I would like to believe that. But I think it's like this morning I was thinking, right? It's Father's Day today. um, and there's this very profound one liner from the movie Main Hoon Na. I don't know if you guys have watched it. Um, there's this line where one of the characters who plays a mother in the role, I think it's Kiran Kher, who says, "Fathers are very important." It's like, because the one of the other characters doesn't know that he has a father or whatever, without getting into details, but that one line has stuck with me. And on such days I tend to revisit it. It's like, the what you kind of want to do for your kids, the responsibility, pretty much everything. And like Saral said, you don't tell your children how to live. They watch you, and they pick up what they want to pick up from you, and whatever that is, good and bad both. So I think it's that innate fear of being responsible and doing it right when your child goes out in the larger world, because that pretty much sums up everything that you want for your child, or what they have picked up from both of you, both the parents, I would say.
Okay. So
Definitely.
one quick question to Saral, say, for example, I have a I have an example. Suppose there is this uh, parent who has a habit. It could be any habit, and say has a son who's of impressionable age. I think he's very close to the age that your son is in, or maybe 2 years here and there. Uh, so he picks up the same habit. I am not sure whether he has. This is just a hypothesis. And as a parent, if either of us were to fall in that problem, where you have a problem with yourself, when you have a habit and you've been trying to resolve it for many years, and suddenly the person that you feel most responsible for, I think it is, um my thought has been that I am most vulnerable as a parent more than anything else. Everything else can be taken care of, but as a parent, you try and think how to resolve it. Um, um, so this is the point that we are trying to figure out. How do we get into a point where we do not pass this sense of roots? Is it
So, sorry.
making sense? Shall I come back again? Okay,
No,
I'll rephrase the
so
question.
is the question that if the child has,
The
you
same
know,
habit that you do not want,
hmm,
if the child has the same habit that you do not want, and you've been trying to resolve it for yourself, how do you ensure that these kind of roots do not pass on to that person? Uh, is the only way by changing yourself, or is there any wordy wisdom, if I were to call it, that would resolve it? Would it?
um, there's no wordy wisdom that will resolve it. I mean, again, I'm just sharing my
Yeah, yeah.
experience. Yeah. It also, see, my relationship with my son, sometimes I describe that we are like siblings. I was quite young as compared to the age that people have children these days. I was quite young when I had him. So um, I kind of grew up with him, so to say. And so we have a lot of like sibling, jaise quarreling hota hai. We do that. Um, I have this habit, Bandi, you must have noticed. I have this habit of saying sala in every sentence almost that I speak. Sala, yes. Abo. That's how far I swear. There came a time I thought, oh my God, like, I say it so often, agar Utkarsh ne bhi wo pick kar liya to, and if he starts saying sala, sala to, and I'm like, oh, please, no. To my good luck, he did not pick it, right? I became a little conscious when I used to talk in front of him when he was little. He did not pick it up, but guess what he has picked up? He's picked up the word pagal. So our pagal, he, like Utkarsh Naishad and I will sit, and if I do something, he'll say pagal. So now if somebody from India or a very conservative background was to listen to this conversation, they'll say, oh my God, apni maa ko pagal bol raha hai. But he's not saying pagal in that way, right? So then I tell him, Utkarsh, private mein theek hai, public mein nahi, huh, please. Aisa. So I'll talk to him like that. So if, however, I have been doing something, I have a habit which my child also picks up. I think it depends on how reflective you are as a person. If you are not reflective, then you have no right to expect anything different from that child. Okay, nothing is going to happen. However, if you are a reflective person, or in the journey, in your evolution, you have come across situations which have turned you into a more reflective person, then if it was me, I would sit my son down and I would say, Utkarsh, I want to confess something. And then, because I have conversations like that with Utkarsh, I'll sit him down and I'll admit my mistake, and that's it. You admit, and then both of you start a journey where you're both trying to, rehabilitate each other.
Wonderful point. I have maybe not a question, but an observation. So maybe Sujata, you can pick it up. So are we really saying that to start with, you have to start treating your kid like an equal rather than your own offspring, and treat him or her with the same respect that you would in any other condition? And if yes, there is a small tweak there. There are times where you cannot admit everything in the sense of it's not as easy as a confession as you are making it out to be. There are some times when the kid does not have the bandwidth at their particular age to understand it. So
Yeah.
there are two questions. So the first question is do you agree that it is about giving them respect as a human being rather than a person of a certain age? And second, if yes, what if the human being is incapable due to age? Nothing else. And the comprehension levels. Like in third standard, you cannot expect a kid to understand history lessons or science lessons of the eighth or the ninth standard. Or to provoke again, bodily changes that a person faces when they turn 13, 14, 15. So they would not understand because it does not pertain to them. So how would you answer or reflect on these two points?
I think Saral has been wanting to say something. I will hold on to my answer. You please go first, Saral.
Um, no, he is not an equal. He is my son. I am the mother. Giving
Okay.
respect doesn't mean he has to be an equal to me. That's how I see it. I'm the mother. I am the more responsible and I have more rights over him, right? But now that he's almost 24, that at that time we are two adults talking. But even then, there are times where I am the mother. I have the last say, not literally, but if you know what I mean. So I personally don't think that I treated him as an equal when he was little. In fact, I fundamentally disagree with that concept where people say, I want to be his friend. No, you have to be the parent. You have to be the mother. You have to be the father. But respect, yes. Respect, yes. You give them the respect that they, can handle and understand. Talking about, that, oh, I can't talk to a year 3 child with this. And I'll give you a small example very quickly. So in India, I'm not sure how programs and movies are now rated, but here there is a G rating, which is general. You can watch aram se, anybody. Then there is a PG rating, which is parental guidance. So you should have an adult with you to watch. And then there's M, which is mature themes. And then there's R, which is like real serious mature themes and violence and all sorts of things. So I remember when Utkarsh was quite little, maybe year 3, 4 types. I can't remember exactly. But I sat down with him and I said, do you know why this is called G and why this is called PG and why this is M? So to explain M, my explanation to him was, okay, Utkarsh, M is not because it is too much violence or too much sexual references. It's not because of that, Beta. It is because there are certain concepts that your mind has still not developed to be able to understand. That's why it is advisable that you don't watch such movies because you might misinterpret those things. So that was my explanation to him, that yeah, your mind is still not developed for those kind of things. But at the same time, I know people who, at least in this time and age, they are exposed to a little bit too much. For that, I feel grateful that I became a mother when social media did not exist. So there was no temptation for me. When there was no temptation, I didn't have to resist anything. But I sometimes feel that if I was to have a child today, I would probably go into a remote area and not have any social media or any WhatsApp or any Zoom around me. And that would be my magic of a good parenting, because I have nothing else but my child and my family, my husband, my parents, whoever are living with me. We are just a unit and we are enjoying each other's company. The problem is these days people have too many distractions, so they're not able to enjoy each other to the fullest.
Yeah. So I have a point, but any which ways, first what do you think? Do you agree with Saral when she says that we should not treat them as equals?
The way I look at it is it's a very relative thing. So for me, when I say I will treat my child as an equal, it means the there are no double standards here. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the parent here. It doesn't mean I will have the last word every time, whether it is right or wrong. It's about having the same rules, if I may say, for both of us. Like if I've done something wrong, really wrong, I have to own up to it and not say, oh, I'm the mother or I'm the father and I know best. Even if I make a mistake, I don't have to apologize because I know best. No, I think personally that's a wrong thing. If you have done something which is not correct, you got to own it up and say, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. And I think that's what the child learns. So just because you are a parent, you can't get away with things because you're the superior one, so as to say. So for me, that would be an equal thing. And I'd also like to believe that over time, that equation will also change, right? If I'm in my 60s and if my child is in their 30s or 40s or whatever, that equation is definitely going to change. And that is where it will be more reflective about what I have instilled in my child, that I get to see in a different way.
Yeah,
So for me, that is the equal part of it, if you know what I mean. Matlab, wrong is wrong, right is right, but the rules has to be same for all of us. I'd give you a very small example. Like for Ria, from a very young age, we have let her make her own choices, what she wants to wear, what she wants to eat. Uh, there has been no inference on your mom knows the best or your dad knows the best, which I think whenever we go to India on holidays, people do find it a bit uh,
yeah,
weird, for want of a
yes.
better word. Like, oh, how can Ria decide whether she wants to have breakfast or not? How can Ria decide what she wants to wear? I'm like, that's how they are going to be responsible and figuring it out what they want or what they don't want. So, you know, what is the where it has led to is that uh, Ria is the kind of child who doesn't eat only pizza and pasta. It's a very small example, but I can take her to any home, any household, any part of the world, and she will eat whatever is served, because we never said you only have to eat this or you can't eat that. So something like that, you know, because I think it's so easy to. I mean, there are so many areas when you are parenting where you can actually put a stamp. Uh, I think there's a very delicate balance where you should try and not do that and let the child just pick up what you do on a daily basis. And I think they appreciate that the most, rather than being told what to do, what to eat, what to wear. Let them make their own choices and go along with it, I would say.
Okay. In fact, there's an interesting correlation I found between both your examples, because when Saral was speaking, when she said, I sat down with my son and explained the concept, he was 3 or 4, and you've been saying that you allow your kid the choices that she wants to make about whatever, dressing up or eating or not
Yeah,
eating. Are we saying that the value that we most cherish is the sense of giving them an independent sense of being, irrespective of us being their parents? Although, to me, the funny part was Saral said exactly the opposite of what she does, because it's about empowerment. It's not about laying the rules as a parent, or she empowered the kid. That is good enough. In my own case, with my daughter, a couple of times, I've had a late marriage, and she's 13 now. Um, it's always been one huge jump to understand her happiness about life, or but I think we kind of found a mixed way. Once, I think the compliment of my recent life is certainly when she came and said, okay, what I like is even when you and I have a fight, you never sulk for long. And for a moment, it was like my heart enlarged. I said, oh, wow, this is a compliment. Because I didn't know that I was doing it this way. She would come back and after say, matlab if I was very miffed with her, then I would tell her that tonight we are not speaking. So don't come again and apologize. This is not done. If she's misbehaved with her mother or she's done something which is like critically above a certain level. So yeah, something of
okay,
that side.
sorry, I just had a thought here. I also sometimes feel that the way we are with our children, it's it's also to some extent how we would have wanted our parents to be with us, and we get that opportunity to behave or
Yeah,
do
I would say
certain things that
I would.
we couldn't get or we couldn't ask for, because if I may say this, for the generation that the three of us come from, uh, you can't really tell your parents, can you? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I
No,
mean, you can't, right? I mean, okay, there would be some leeway, I'm sure, but I mean, my mom, even at this stage, would insist that I bloody eat a pumpkin curry, and I hate pumpkin to the core, you know? So those kind of things.
Yeah.
right?